previous videos, watch the ones on the repair and maintenance forums, as well as the date and increments. So if we go ahead and look over here, I kind of split the screen up. It's to where we're looking at an actual form and then the inspection list over here. So what I've done is I just kind of picked one of each one of these so I could go over it. There's no real life scenario on what we're looking at here. The objective here is just to kind of show you what they do, so you guys can take this and make it however you guys would like. So starting off, if you see, I could take these and I could put this in whatever order I want. This is just kind of a drag and drop, and as I drag and drop, you can see the number orders also change. Once I do a drag and drop on each one of these, over here on this side, the inspections list here, or the form, will change in whatever order that we have it. So basically, this is just to help customize it, help to put in the proper order that you want. All right. If we look over here and we look at just basically the checks, which is what we're looking at here. If you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and edit one of these. We have our checks for our type, and then we have an extra. So what the extra is we have like breaks or increments or next due. By looking at that, you can see here's all our different checks, and here's basically our next due, our breaks, which we have a little break column on here, increments, and of course just checked. The next due item would basically give you this little pop-up screen that says next due. So you can go ahead and add next due or what have you on here. Okay. A little bit different than the inspection report due, but that would be your next due item. I'm going to go ahead and go back on this. If you look at what says groups, what this is just a nice, great big green underline to help you group your items in the proper order that you want. Now, anytime we're looking at this little eye, it gives you a little pop-up and a hint what each one does. Now, how I put information in each one of these is if I just go ahead and go to, let's say, group on here. Anytime I put information in this help area, this eye will pop up and you can hover over it and it'll help you kind of decide what we're talking about on each one of these. So we could put in whatever we want. I just said the same thing as in the text right here, just so you can see. Once we go ahead and we go down to where it says damages, the damages, when you put on damages, whether you talk about a tractor or a trailer, it will pop up the screen right here. So this is your damage screen. And how this works is you just select the side that's damaged. So you could say both sides are damaged, or let's just say this side is damaged. And then we can write a detail on what's damaged. So these two actually go together, and that's what our damage type is. Okay. Going down to tires. Once we put tires on here, this is our tires tab. Now, our tires actually come with this check mark right here. So if I uncheck the dualies, we can see we have more of the wide tires here. Okay. As I scroll down, now we're looking at parts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just say what I have right here. If I go down here and I hit my plus button, I could add as many lines as I want here for our parts. So our part type, basically, I could put our type. I could just describe it, or whatever I want to put on here. I could say the quantity, I could put the cost, and then it will total up quantity times cost. And it'll do that all the way down. Okay, so that is your part type. We go to notes. Notes are pretty self-explanatory. We put our notes on. We can make this as large or as small as we want. You can just kind of drag it open and shut here. Okay. If we put something underneath notes, and we have something called cost, a little bit different than our parts. Okay, so our costs, what this is this is just a one column for our cost, and we can just put that in there. Okay. Something to note is these don't add up together. So this is just somewhere where you put this in the form. Next, as we go down, hours are a nice thing right here. So if I put in, let's say 1,000, why would over here on this side I'll say all of a sudden say 6,000? It's because in my hours, I'm going to go ahead and edit this. I put an increment of 5,000. Okay, so if I had an increment of 1,600 or something, it would give you an increment over here. So that is what this is. Okay, same thing with our odometer meter. We could say next is 3,000 or whatever. We can also add in 1,000 over here. I put in and it automatically adds up. If we don't want this to add up and we just kind of want this blank, then we simply over here do not make this increment. We just put this as none, and then this line would go away, and we just basically just see just this side. Okay, so scrolling down, we have something called just text. This is kind of a nice one. You can put in whatever you want over here, and then over here on this side, you just this would be the answer to whatever you have over here, just as a general text. Driver, tractor, and trailer. Now, this is important. If I put a driver on this, okay, let's just say I put a driver called test driver on here. If I put a driver on this, what will happen is that driver in the driver profile, you'd be able to see this form. Okay, so let's say there's an accident report or something that you put on here. You'd be able to see the form over there on the driver's side. You wouldn't be able to edit it over there. You'd have to go back to where it was originally created, whether it was on the tractor or trailer side, and edit it there, and then you'd still be able to see always the that accident report over the driver's side. So same thing here with the trailer and tractor. Another thing to note is if you have a driver that has a default trailer, this will automatically populate the tractor or the trailer if it's defaulted. And then the last thing, what always is on the bottom here is attachments. You can always add attachments to this. That would populate over on the other side as well. Okay. One last thing just to note, if the due date, if we have this on a due date, and let's just say this isn't an annual, well, let's say I change this to monthly, quarterly, or whatever. If this due date is expired, you'd see on the front page. So let's see if we can look on the front page here. You'd see on the front page here one that is due. So if we look over here, something that's due, you can see that this is due right here, and then we can scroll down and we can look and we can see what's due and why it's due. Okay. We could also look on our odometer reports over here. If we had odometer, we can see our current odometer reading or our current hour meter reading when we're looking at this as well. And really, that's all there is to it.